I don't know if I'll have any in the bottom tier. Maybe I need to start being a bit more critical. That way we get at least one in the bottom tier. Hello, and thank you for joining me here at Why the Book Wins. My name is Laura, and today I am going to be tier ranking the Stephen King movies that I have seen thus far. I previously did a ranking of the Stephen King books I have read. I will link to that if you have not yet watched it. But yeah, today we're doing his movies. And before I dive in, this sweater is one I designed myself. It is embroidered on here, so it is high quality. It's not just printed on. And yeah, I think it looks awesome. I love it. You can buy one of your own on my Etsy shop, which I will link to down below. So yeah, let's just get right into the ranking now. So the tiers, the names of the tiers, I loved the names I came up with in my book video, but I didn't want to just reuse all of them again for this one, so I came up with some new ones. So number 1, 5-star books, is called I'm Your Number One Fan, which of course is a reference to Misery. 4-star books, We All Float, a reference to It. And then 3-star books are called Prom Queen, which is from Carrie. And then 2-star books, All Work and No Play. This is a reference to The Shining. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy, because in the movie he's typing that just over and over again. And then the bottom tier is called Shitters. And this is a reference to Christine, because Arnie starts using this as an insult once he gets Christine. And now we are just going to dive right in. So the first movie I have here, we're kind of starting with a doozy because this is Dreamcatcher. I'm going to put it in Prom Queen because I actually really enjoy this movie. It's so cheesy and bad in certain ways, and yet I think it's a fun one to watch and it's very entertaining. And I think some parts actually are very effective and very creepy. And the first time I ever watched this, I was in high school. I was like maybe 16 or something, and I had to stop partway through because it was creeping me out too much. So when I returned to it as an adult, I watched it all the way through, but it's admittedly pretty bad at times, and the stuff with Morgan Freeman is kind of boring, but I think there's a lot to like here too, in a so bad it's good kind of a way. And by the way, a lot of these I do have book versus movies for, so if you want to see my Dreamcatcher episode, you can search my channel and give it a watch. Next up, Dolores Claiborne. So I love this book. It's a 5-star book, but the movie I also really like. I don't think it's a 5-star movie, but it is incredible. We have Kathy Bates, and Stephen King wrote this role for Kathy Bates. And then Jennifer Jason Leigh is someone I love, and she is fantastic as the daughter. And then David Strathairn is fantastic as the husband. He's such an incredible actor, and he's just always amazing. And he has such like a broad range of roles that I've seen him in, but he's always just so incredible. And here he is so good at playing this despicable guy. And there is one scene in particular when they're on the ferry. It is so disturbing, but so good. Like, it's very effective. Like I said, he's fantastic. Anyway, so I do really like Dolores Claiborne, but I don't know if I would say it's a 5-star movie. Although the woman who plays Vera too, she was fantastic. Because the performances are so good, I'm almost thinking I should bump it up. I'll put it on I'm Your Number One Fan for now. And now 1408, this one I like a lot too. I'm putting this in We All Float. There are alternate endings, and so in some ways, like depending on the ending, that might change my rating, but there's 2 endings in particular that I do like. Such a simple premise, but I love it. Again, I have a book versus movie video for it. And then next up we have the miniseries It. I'm going to put that at Prom Queen as well. Admittedly, it's been a little while since I have seen this one, so I'm basing it off of my memory from 10 to 14 years ago. But I remember the ending being like, what? Like, what's happening right now? But I also remember being really freaked out, and some parts, yeah, I liked. And Tim Curry, I think is really good as Pennywise. I have not seen the new It movies. I know that probably is crazy for a Stephen King fan to not have seen it. But to be honest, I watched the trailer, and the trailer gave me nightmares. And so I didn't want to watch the movie because I knew it would make me scared. Like, part of me does want to see it, and at some point I will. I just need to feel ready to watch it and to just be ready to have nightmares, because I know it will make me scared at night. And people can go ahead and trash me in the comments and say, I've gotten comments like this before being like, how can you call yourself a Stephen King fan if you're too scared to watch the movies? Well, I am. I don't know. I read his books. The book wasn't so scary I couldn't read it. But the movie, the imagery is just pretty freaky. So anyway, I need to feel ready to really get into that movie. But I've heard the first one is fantastic, so I definitely want to watch it. And I did love the book It. But anyway, on to Christine. So this one I actually watched just last night. I'll put it above both of these. So Christine, I'm putting it in prom queen, which may not be as high as some people might put it, but I enjoyed it. It has some cool moments. And yeah, my book versus movie video for this will be out later in December, so stay tuned. I painted my nails red specifically for my Christine video, so I will be filming that one soon. I haven't yet, but anyway, that will be coming out later in December. The Mist, this one I am putting in We All Float. So this one, the ending is insane. Like, don't rate this movie, don't write it off, or don't come to a decision until you have watched it literally until the very end and the credits start rolling, because wow, that ending. But also the effects, admittedly, they're not the best at times with like the creatures, but nonetheless, I really enjoyed it all the way around, even with the bad effects. And I think the performances are good. And then yeah, the ending of the movie is much better than the ending of the book. And then we have Carrie from 2013. This one is going in all work and no play. This one is fine, but at the end of the day, I ended this movie thinking, like, why did they feel the need to make this? Because it was almost just like a shot-for-shot remake of the 70s film while not being as good as the 70s film. And also, again, I get into this in my book versus movie, which will be out on Monday, so you're kind of getting a sneak preview into what I say in that video. But like, if you're gonna remake the movie, make significant changes that warrant a remake, but they didn't make significant changes. It was almost so many things were just like a shot-for-shot remake. And so while it was well done, it just felt a little pointless. And now The Green Mile. This one, I'm going to put it on We All Float. I did enjoy this one. I would love to do a book versus movie for The Green Mile. I read it in 2019. I've seen the movie twice, I think, at this point. But yeah, I would love to reread the book and do an in-depth video on it. But yeah, I'll just leave it at We All Float, and it was one I enjoyed. Also, it has Sam Rockwell, who I absolutely love. And then we have Gerald's Game. This one I'm putting in prom queen. So this one, again, the performances are amazing. I don't remember the name of that actress, but she was incredible in this movie. And for the most part, you know, this would have gone higher up, except the ending. In some ways, they make improvements on the book ending, but then, just to get into spoilers real quick, because I gotta talk about this. So the book and movie both suddenly like totally shift to a different story when she finds out that that guy who came into the room had been real, and then he's like arrested and put on trial, and the movie has the stupidest scene where she walks up to him in court, and it was just so cheesy and so stupid. So both book and movie kind of ruin it with the ending. So it would be higher, but that ending was just so bad. For the most part, yeah, this movie, it is worth watching. In fact, I'm gonna bump it up higher. And again, the main performance is so good. And that part when she's like trying to get her hand through the handcuff, like it was so well done. And now we have the 1979 Salem's Lot. I like this one a lot. Like, is it a good adaptation? They make some big changes, but there is something about it that I really like, and I am a fan of David Soul, like I talk about in that video. I enjoyed the movie. I thought it was a decent adaptation, despite the changes to Barlow, but I also thought the vampires, I thought like the effects worked really well, and they were really creepy, and the camera angles, and there's certain scenes that are just so unsettling, and yeah, anyway, I enjoyed this one. Stand By Me. This is another, it's been a while since I've seen this. I guess I'll also put it in We All Float. If I watched this again today, maybe I would give it a higher rating. I don't know, but based on my memory of this, I did like it a lot. But yeah, I think I'll keep it in We All Float. Maybe I'll put it above Salem's Lot though. Well, and The Mist should probably go a bit lower, I guess, too. Okay, anyway, up next, the new Salem's Lot. This one is definitely all work and no play. I don't know if I'll have any in the bottom tier. Maybe I need to start being a bit more critical. That way we get at least one in the bottom tier. But yeah, Salem's Lot, this recently came out. I have a book versus movie for it. And yeah, I was very disappointed. In fact, maybe I'll put this one in the bottom just to have something down there. Maybe I'll move it later, but for now, I guess I'll keep that one down there. The Shining, this one, I'm your number one fan. Of course, The Shining movie is so different from the book. In many ways, I do prefer the book for sure, because the character of Jack for one, and the book is just incredible. One of my favorite Stephen King books. But the movie, if you just watch it as its own thing and try not to compare it too much to the book, the movie is just fantastic. Like, it's incredible, obviously. I'm not like saying anything revolutionary by making that statement, because plenty of people feel that way. But yeah, anyway, I love The Shining, despite the fact that it is very different from the book. And then we have the 2004 miniseries for Salem's Lot. I was pretty harsh towards this in my video for the miniseries, and I think as time has gone on, I like it more than I initially did. So I'm putting it in Prom Queen because, yeah, I admire the fact that they really tried to capture the essence of the town, and Salem's Lot, the town itself, is such a key character in that story and all of the different drama going on. And the 79 movie like tries to touch on it, but they didn't delve into it enough for it to make sense. The scene they did include with the woman cheating on her husband, it almost feels like, why was that even included? Because it feels so random. But in the framework of the book, it makes sense because we hear about so many other things going on in the town. And the 2004 version shows all of that. But the 2004 version also isn't without its faults, and the vampires I don't think look creepy enough. I think they look the best in the 79 version. But yeah, and then the ending I didn't love either. But you know, it's still pretty good though. So I'm putting it up in Prom Queen. Shawshank Redemption. I do like this movie a lot. I will put it... I'll put it behind Stand By Me. And again, I do have a book versus movie. I thought of having one of these tiers called like Get Busy Living or something, but We All Float, I guess I could have renamed to be that. But anyway, yeah, I'll put it in We All Float. Firestarter with Drew Barrymore. This one, all work and no play. I wasn't a fan of this one. It was kind of, I remember it being a bit too long and boring, and I just didn't care as much as I wanted to care. I almost feel, again, like maybe I need to be more harsh and put it in the bottom tier. But is that too harsh? I don't think that movie was that bad. Maybe Actually, I'm going to keep it behind Carrie, because I might have even liked the new Carrie better than Firestarter. So yeah, anyway. Again, I have a book versus movie for that, and I'll just go ahead and do this the new Firestarter too. I like the newer one better, which I know the new one got horrible reviews, but I think I liked it better than the original. It was only a couple of years ago, so I want to say I enjoyed the new one better, but it still, you know, it was just okay. And then the old Pet Sematary from the 80s. Man, I'm putting so many in We All Float, but this one is very faithful to the book, and I think it's creepy, and for the most part, it's well done. Yeah, I'm putting it in We All Float. Misery, this one. Also, I'm your number one fan, which when it comes to book versus movie, I definitely prefer the book. The book Misery is fantastic. I have this Suntup Press edition of Misery, which I'm so proud to own because it's like one of my favorite books of all time. It's just so good. But the movie, even though it's not as good as the book, the movie is also fantastic. Kathy Bates, another Kathy Bates movie. James Caan is incredible as Paul. And then we have the guy from Anne of Green Gables is in this, and he plays the sheriff. But yeah, this movie is incredible, so I'm putting it in I'm your number one fan. Dr. Sleep, I also loved this movie. I'm putting it in I'm your number one fan. It is the sequel to The Shining, and I know people complained about too much fan service in Dr. Sleep, but I loved it. And I loved how they incorporated parts of the book The Shining. That I just like, because the book and movie The Shining are so different. Dr. Sleep, it had to make changes from the book Dr. Sleep because the book Dr. Sleep is based, you know, it continues from the book The Shining. Whereas this, the movie, they did a good job at incorporating things from both the book and the movie The Shining. And so, yeah, anyway, I thought it was a fantastic sequel, and it does a great job at paying homage to the movie The Shining as well as the book, and then a great adaptation of the book Dr. Sleep. There's one detail with the end which I didn't love, and I preferred how the book did it. And in general, I think I do prefer the book over the movie, but still, I love Dr. Sleep. And then Rebecca Ferguson, I think that's her name, as Rose the Hat. Wow, she was so good. And then Secret Window. This one I'll put at the top of All Work and No Play because this one is fine. I enjoyed it, but it's definitely not the best Stephen King book or movie out there. And then The Dead Zone, this one, I I almost want to put it at the top of Prom Queen. I do really like this one a lot. And Christopher Walken, you know, he's fantastic. But my problem is that they try to be too faithful to the book by including, I mean, they don't include everything. The book is pretty lengthy and there's a lot of different events, but they try to include too many events. And so it just feels kind of rushed. And so I feel like there's a couple things they actually should have left out of the movie. That way they could have given other storylines more time to breathe, you know? But it's still a great adaptation. And a lot of people talk about how this is like one of the best adaptations and, you know, it gets so much praise. So yeah, it's definitely worth watching. And I loved the book. You should definitely check that out as well. It was Stephen King's first ever bestseller. So that's a fun fact. And then we have Carrie, which is also incredible. Yeah, these I would have to say are the top 3 Stephen King movies, I would say, because yeah, Carrie. Again, my book versus movie video comes out on Monday, and that movie, it's incredible, and I'll just leave it at that. And then last up is the new Pet Sematary. I didn't hate this movie, but did I like it? I think I'll put it at top of All Work and No Play. I'm trying to remember what I rated this. I think I gave it 2.5, so All Work and No Play is a fitting spot. Putting Salem's Lot on the bottom, that does seem kind of harsh, but that movie, like, I would never watch that movie again. It's not horrible, like it has its merits, but I gotta put something in the bottom tier, I suppose, right? So anyway, let me know what you think of this ranking. Comment your thoughts down below. And thank you so much for watching this video. Again, if you have not yet seen my Stephen King book video, you definitely should watch that one as well. Christine and Carrie are not on that because I didn't read them until after I made that video, but Christine would go in the middle tier, 3 stars, I would say. And then Carrie, that one would go in We All Float, because I gave Carrie 4 stars. So that's where I would put those books if I were to do that tier ranking now. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you have not already. And check out my Etsy shop if you want to get one of these sweaters for yourself. And I will see you next time. Bye.